I'm making a video in response to yet again another issue in Grand Theft Auto Online and single player. 1.28 just came out, though stuttering with the release of 1.27. And let me minimize this. And this is a graph from that. And as you can see, my frame times were spiking. This is the graph I made when with 1.27. And I'm gonna represent what do you call it? This patch 1.28. And apparently someone on Reddit said, and then Rockstar knows that there's a frame rate issue, blah blah blah. But there was an issue a month ago, and I don't know, they broke it even more. So, and this guy posts up about all the shit, blah blah blah. He's all happy about matchmaking now better or whatever. Then he claims that his performance is fine and posts his stuff, which um I don't know how he's like missing it. I guess his stuff is fine. It will, like here, it just shows like right here, pass 1, 14, and then 80, then 17, pass 2, 11, then 48, then 60. So like I don't know if he's just brain dead, but 14 milliseconds then spiking to 80 milliseconds is not fine. So, and I'm gonna prove that right now. Unless if I read that wrong. Either way, I'll prove it right now. So go into the game. I'm in single player right now, and let me do is I'll show you my on the top left. I have MSI. It shows FPS and frame times, and underneath that it's GPU. It's my temperatures, which is 40 Celsius. My computer's water cooled. I don't know if I showed the stats. I probably didn't. 5820K, 4.25 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM, quad channel 2666, and then the GPU is a 980 Ti, latest. Actually, it's not the latest hotfix driver. It's the one before that. But that latest one just fixed Vegas, Sony Vegas, so I didn't update it. Overclocked a little bit. So yeah, that's my specs. So let me first go back to this chart and clear history, and then go back into the game. So right now, single player. It stutters in single player. Just did it now, but it's not as bad compared to multiplayer. Multiplayer is pretty shitty. I don't know what the fuck. There we go. So I'll just drive around for a little bit. I swipe again. Even though I'm getting 120 FPS. I don't know if I showed my in-game settings. I guess I show those if that matters. Advanced, the only thing on advanced is high streaming for fine. 1920 by 1080, 144 hertz. I have G-Sync, so this is a G-Sync monitor, so that's enabled. So V-Sync's off. 2x MSAA. Everything else is on very high besides glass. That's on ultra. And then yeah, so that's my settings. Games on an SSD. It's on a 512 gigabyte MX100 Crucial SSD. So that matters. I don't know. The SSDs will prevent streaming, like texture streaming and low I/O in game. So games. So, but it doesn't matter because it still stutters. So I stuttered a few times. You just drive along for a little bit. Smash this guy's car, and then I'll Alt Tab. And as you can see, that was when I was in the main menu. But as you can see before that, 40 milliseconds, then 15, and 14. And then it's going to go back up to 42 milliseconds, then 15. So, and if you do math, which most people don't, if you divide the FPS by 1,000, so say if I was getting, right here I was getting 42 milliseconds, I forgot how to pause this, so when I hit the 42 millisecond frame time, wait, I passed it, 42 I was hitting 90 FPS. So if I do 1000 divided by 90, 11 milliseconds. Wasn't getting 11 milliseconds, I was getting 42. So that's an issue. So I'm in single player. This is really bad in multiplayer. So let me switch to multiplayer. And as also you can see, my video RAM usage is at 4 gigabytes of VRAM. So my 90 Ti has 6 gigabytes of VRAM, so not hitting any bottlenecks or anything. I have 16 gigs of RAM. My computer system's using 12 gigs and 112 gigs and 140 some megabytes. I do have paging files off because I have an SSD, and I don't want a whole shit ton of bytes on my SSD. And being that I have 16 gigs of RAM, there's no purpose to having page files on. So that's why that's high. So actually, let me alt tab out and I'll show you. Like most people would look here and go, "Oh, look at, I'm only using 7.6, gigs of RAM, and the game's using almost 3 gigs of RAM." But actually, if you really supposed to be looking at the committed, which is that plus the page files 12.1, which is right there. It's actually 12.2 now when I alt tab. So I'm going to go back out again, minimize this, clear history. And I'm in my garage. Take this call out. I'm going to put passive mode on because, I guess I disabled it, but hopefully I don't get ganked. There's not really many people in this server, but it's stuttering still. So earlier I was actually having issues when just getting into a call. My GPU usage will go from 95% to like 50. Guess it's not doing that now, probably because I was in that lobby with people hacking. I guess I can't enable passive mode yet. Oh, I gotta wait a few seconds. So let me go to ammunition and see if it does that spiking. I haven't really played this since this patch other than like an hour ago, so let's see if it does that huge dip that people get in ammunition. I can tell it's stuttering a lot. I don't know if it's showing in the video, but so let's get in. Come in here. He's waving to me. It dropped to 113 FPS, but I don't have that huge ass dip. I don't know if it depends on what ammunition store you go into, but apparently this one I don't have an issue. But in a second, when I alt tab, after I enable passive mode, oh, there we go. Got into the call, GPU usage 40%, and my FPS is at 70%. Let me get out of the call, back up to 95%, 140 FPS, and go back into the call, 75 FPS and 55% GPU usage. And then you're like, oh, well, it's still above 60, so why are you complaining? Well, this is why I'm complaining. These frame times are atrocious. This is just like there's a 50 millisecond frame time right there. So yeah, so I don't feel like doing the math now, but if you just do the math of 50 milliseconds, that's well above 30 it's well below 30 FPS. It's probably like, I don't know, it's probably like 10. But I know 16 milliseconds is I believe 60. 16.66 is 60 FPS, I believe. So as you can see though, that's the issue, spiking. So whatever they did, I don't know what they did, but they fucked it up even more. So it wasn't that bad. In 1.27, it was bad, but they made it even worse. So whoever claims that this game performs fine, no, it doesn't. You probably just can't see it because you could be running a 60 hertz monitor, which actually he is, because his settings are right here. He's running at 4K. Well, not technically 4K. He's running, I think it looks like surround. He's probably running 3 displays in surround. With VSync on. So yeah. So 60 hertz. If I go into here, find the GPU. Here it is. If I cap the FPS at 60 FPS, go back to here, clear history, go back into the game, and let's see what the frame times look at 60 FPS. I saw stutter there. But let's just run this out and see how it does. His frame time is going to be a lot probably higher, being that he's running from what it looks like 3 1080p monitors in surround. So either that or he's running a custom resolution, which I highly doubt. That's a really odd number for a custom resolution. There's no point of super sampling that kind of resolution unless if you're doing screenshots. But yeah, it's stuttering quite a lot, and I just hit the guy. Oh, and also VRAM usage is up to 4,400 megabytes. So I never seen this game go that high before. And my my system RAM is hitting like 1300 megabytes, 13 gigs. So anyway, I'll tab out, capped at 60 FPS. And as I said earlier, 16.66 is 60 FPS, so that's normal. 47 is not more normal in milliseconds. So yes, you'll even experience it at 60 FPS. I'm not going to even bother capping it at 30 because there's no point of playing this a PC game at 30 FPS. So yes, this long ass video just proves that no, the game does not work fine, and they also proved that in the files when it showed right here when it showed frame times. Was it like 14, 80 milliseconds, and 17 milliseconds, and all that. So yeah. Um, Either way though, game one's like shit. It's one worse than before, and this shouldn't be an issue, being that this game was perfectly fine beforehand. And whatever they did to this anti-cheat thing they did in 1.27, or they just did something in with something else. Either way, the game runs like shit now. So yeah, the only way you can fix that is to not play it online and add this launch command to play it in offline. So yep. But anyway, if you have any questions or comments, just please leave a comment in the video. I know I can't talk right. I have a speech impediment, so you don't need to point that out. I already know it. If you're gonna point it out anyway, go to 4chan, because you can flame all you want there. Alright, if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'm out.